Herd hierarchy, the NFL top 10 teams, a power ranking, if you will. We will look at mine juxtaposed, word of the day, with Colin Cowherd's herd hierarchy. So real quick, let's take a look at my 10 from the first week. So here we are after week 1. This is how they were sitting. I will say this. Early in the season, there's going to be more shakeup because I think teams will get found out quicker. Teams will prove who they are quicker. As the season goes on, we know who the teams are. So it kind of stagnates to a point to where you can tell these are the 6 best teams and there's not that much moving and shaking. Early in the season, though, total opposite. So let's go ahead and look at what the new top 10 looks like. Little note, if a team wins, usually I don't drop them. Like Miami won, Dallas won. If Dallas's win was more impressive, I still don't. It has to be a big disparity for me to drop a team if they win. So here's the new list. The top 3 stays the same. Detroit lost to Seattle. Kind of a tough spot there, coming off of the very emotional win, but still, it is what it is. So they get dropped. But the top 3 stays the same. San Francisco, Miami, Dallas. Frisco is just firing on all cylinders. Miami, not a super convincing win, but a good win in New England where they've had trouble. Road divisional games. And that was a tough spot for Miami, too. It was their second road game. First game was on the West Coast against the Los Angeles Chargers. So to go from the West Coast to the East Coast, back-to-back road games to start the season, still tough. I mean, they're good, So like what the Dolphins were doing, the Cowboys, they are rolling. Them in San Francisco are just going nuts to start the season. Philadelphia slides up. Really kind of on the back of last year. They had kind of a win. I still am kind of concerned about the offense, but they certainly look better. Not a terrible win, and so they move up. Baltimore moves up, really good win. And here's another big reason they move up, and no one's going to talk about this besides me, because no one does what I can do. Baltimore shoots up because they have a road win against Cincinnati. All right, Cincinnati's 0-2. But right now, Baltimore has the driver's seat to win the AFC North. They're, I would say, head and shoulders above the AFC North right now, especially if Joe Burrow is hurt and that lingers and the Bengals struggle even more out of the gate. Baltimore could kind of clinch that division early, and they're starting to play better. I mean, I think they looked better in week 2, so they definitely take a jump. Detroit falls. We're not going to, again, tough spot, not going to punish them too much. KC, big win, tough win, had to have it win. Still don't look that impressive to me. Chris Jones being back was a huge deal. Kelsey being back was a huge deal. Jacksonville, man, I hate to be right all the time, but in the videos I made this offseason about Jacksonville being a Super Bowl threat, and I kind of alluded to this, that, guys, Jacksonville went from worst team in the league to 9-8, right? They had the first overall pick 2 years in a row, Trevor Lawrence and then Trayvon Walker. Then they go from that into all of a sudden now they're a Super Bowl contender. That's not how it works, all right? That's not how you can go from like average to really good, but it's such a jump to go from average to the best team in the NFL. And don't forget, guys, before they exploded at the end of last year, Jacksonville, what were they, 3-8? I mean, Jacksonville had to win out to have the record that they have, if I'm not mistaken. Peterson coached teams do tend to do better in the back half of the season, so this isn't a death knell for Jacksonville, but it is a disappointing performance to get the champs at home, and you put up 9 points. Bills, bounce back, good stuff from the Bills. Hard to give them a total, full grade, because, I mean, competition and whatnot, but good performance from the Bills. Seahawks, good win. I think the Seahawks are really good. I think they'll be competitive in the NFC West. I didn't think the Niners would be this good, but all things being said, good win from Seattle. They're still kind of injured, so Seattle gets kind of a cupcake game with Carolina going there this week. So we'll see if they can get healthier, if they can look more like the team that we saw last year.
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
I got to be honest. I was blown away by the Washington Commanders.
I don't have a problem with Washington. Jason McIntyre is struggling. whenever I'm always hesitant to really upgrade teams or celebrate teams who come from behind in a huge deficit, because they were still in that deficit. I do give them credit for winning, but they were still down at one point. They were still getting smoked. So what was going on? What was the problem there? I'm not totally sold on Washington. I do think they're average. I think they're maybe even slightly above average, but a top 10 team, that's a bit much. And don't get this misconstrued. I do not want to read in the comments about how I didn't give them points or whatever for coming from behind, and beating the Broncos. I don't want that. I don't want that, because I am giving them credit. Okay, I don't give you as much credit as other people might.
Take out that nonsense Hail Mary. They dominated second, third quarter on the road. And by the way,
see, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, take away the Hail Mary. They dominated, except when they were down 21-3.
lead the NFL over the Cowboys with 10 sacks and 20 quarterback hits. Sam Howell, 3-0. I liked what I saw. I said this before the season. We like their personnel.
We do. I like their personnel. For sure. Let me ask you this. Comments. YouTube right now in the comment section. This is a little bit of a water cooler conversation, as you may say. This is a little brainstorming activity. Who would you rather have? This is controversial. You ready? Who would you rather have? Sam Howell, Bryce Young, Justin Fields, or Daniel Jones? Who would you rather have moving forward as your starting quarterback? Let me know in the comments below.
We're not sure about the coach and the quarterback, but Howell's played well. He's got a little juice. And now with Chase Young back, they're going to get you a pass rush. I thought, forget that silly Hail Mary. I thought once this game got off script, Washington was the better team easily.
Number 9.
The Rams are shocking. Number 2.
I don't know about this one. I don't see this. How can you be unranked? You lose. I don't understand. I don't understand the jump. Don't see it. I don't see it. Does he think Puka, or whatever the wide receiver's name is going to have 214 receptions this year? Does he think what they're doing is sustainable? Even if it is sustainable, and you want to talk about Hail Mary at the end, McVay kicked a field goal at the end of this game. So this is really a 30-20 score. So you're telling me a 1-1 team coming off of a 30-20 loss all of a sudden gets jumped up to the top 10, 9? I don't see this at all. This is not to mention, like, Cam Akers just got thrown off the team, whatever's happening with him. I think he just got traded, actually. He might have just got... Breaking news. Let me check, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news, if you're watching this. Yes, the Rams are sending Cam Akers to the Vikings for a swap of 2026 draft picks per Adam Schefter. So breaking news here. I mean, what are the YouTube channels doing that?
New offense in the league. Stafford has been sacked only once. Stafford's one of 2 quarterbacks with 300-plus passing yards in each of the first 2 games, and that's in Seattle and against the Niners. I don't care what the preseason people said. This defense is young and fast.
We talk about analytics, we talk about stats all the time on this channel. I talk about it all the time in the comment section. I hate how it's like, yeah, he leads, what do you say, is 2 300-yard games in the first 2 games. Do you think maybe the fact that they were losing 30-20 might have had something to do with that? Do you think maybe, like, he'll have more passing yards than, say, a Dak Prescott who won their first 2 games 40-0 and 30-10? Game script matters, guys. Like, you can't just go to ESPN and look at sort passing yards. Oh, this guy's the best quarterback. That's not how it works. You got to look at a whole bunch of other stuff. You can't just say, wow, 300-yard passing, unbelievable. Wow, yards don't tell the whole story. The surface level stats like that, they really tell nothing at all.
Puka Nacua leads the NFL with 25 catches. They're going to move Cam Akers. Maybe they can get a little bit of an edge rush. I don't know what they're going to do. But I'm watching an offense right now that's clever, good protection, excellent quarterback, and Cooper Kupp's coming in a couple of weeks. I like what I see. Rams at 9.
Number 8.
Jacksonville. They're 7-2 over their last 9.
Okay, is that where I had them? Did I have them at 8? I did. Let's go, Colin. Let's go, son.
9 games. Trevor Lawrence wasn't good in the red zone against the Chiefs, but the second highest graded quarterback this season, according to PFF. They're gonna be okay.
Yeah,
listen,
be
they
right.
can't beat the Chiefs. Okay. Baltimore can't beat the Chiefs.
Again, guys, they were 9-8 last year. It's not like, yeah, they only have a problem with the Chiefs. No, they have a problem with pretty much everyone. They were 9-8. So this whole like, man, if they could just get behind, if they could just get past the Chiefs, we'd be good to go. This would be a Lombardi team. And then you just totally forget about the other teams that they lost to last year. Like this, they will be fine. They're good, but they're not at that elite level of the AFC. At least not right now.
Okay, that's a problem for virtually everybody. This is a really good roster. Tough game. Indy, they figured out a way to win. They were in this game, just bad in the red zone. I got Jacksonville at 8.
Number 7.
Buffalo's going to be fine. The one thing they're not right.
All right, so we're pretty close on Buffalo, too.
Now, they lead the NFL since 2020 with 27 wins by 10-plus points. That's why J-Mac had them last week. They roll downhill. If they get a lead on you with that pass rush, watch out. But the other thing to remember, no giveaways against the Raiders. They shortened the routes. The Bills, Josh Allen leads the NFL right now, believe it or not, completing 76% of his throws. So they're shortening routes, more tight end.
Turnovers are really underrated in the NFL. We talked about stats 20 seconds ago. But if you go and look at the turnover ratio, that usually is a pretty good indicator of who wins the game. I don't care how good a team is. If they're down 2 in the turnover battle or 2 or 3, it's going to be hard to win. The problem with that is that Josh Allen turns the ball over a lot. So Josh Allen's turnover, his ability or his inability to keep the ball is really hindering Buffalo. And Colin just said it. They didn't turn the ball over. And what happened? They rolled. That's not magic. But when you have a quarterback that does turn it over a lot, you got to wonder, can he streak together games like this? Can he be efficient at games in a row? Can he be consistent? Or was this a blip on the radar? That's something to watch for.
More easy completions. Stop throwing the ball downtown and getting picked. Buffalo at number 7.
Number 6.
I like the Baltimore story. They're banged up, but they had 20.
Okay. Yeah, I have them a little higher, right? Or do I have them? Where do I have them? A 5. Okay, so pretty close.
25-plus points in their first 2 games. Mark Andrews coming back to tight end. Lamar Jackson 7-1 in his career against the Bengals. I'm telling you, this team it's hard to prepare for him. There is no other Lamar Jackson in the league, and they had 100.
I mean, that's another thing too. Like they're getting Mark Andrews back. They're 2-0 with a road win at Cincinnati, and they're getting Mark Andrews back, and they aren't even full strength. Lamar's not playing his best. Like this team, I'm telling you, Baltimore is a team to watch out for. Set it all off season. I have a division ticket on them. I have them to win the AFC North. I had that from a month ago before the season started. I'm probably about to add more futures on them to win the AFC or to win the Super Bowl. Baltimore is one of those teams that no one's talking about, but in a few weeks, everyone's going to be talking about.
78.
Quote the Raven, nevermore.
8 rushing yards against the Bengals. When they start getting the lead, they're running the football. You're running out of time. Their defense is better than I thought. Baltimore at 6.
Number 5.
Philadelphia has an identity crisis.
All right, we're right there. Me and Colin are about a slot off, which is fine. So yeah, I like this.
Run the ball with Jalen Hurts. He's a power running quarterback. That's what you are. DeAndre Swift had a good weekend. Number 1 rush defense, number 2 rush offense. Don't be embarrassed. This is what Jalen Hurts is, a power running quarterback. Slide, run out of bounds, no problem. But let's not try to make this offense anything other than what it is. Power run game with a great O-line. Philly at 5.
That's pretty much what they are. I mean, Colin's right about that. And they were even alluding to that against the Vikings. That they were saying, we know this is boring, the announcers. They're like, we know this is boring, but this is what Philly does. This is how they beat you. And it is boring. It is boring. It can be boring at times. They do take some deep shots, but it is a lot of we're going to just run the ball. We're going to dominate the line. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be creative, and we're going to win. They're the guy who plays Madden, and he knows like 2 plays that always work, and he just runs those 2 plays, and he just carves you up with those 2-3 plays. That's Philly, including the Philly push or whatever. So they're not super special. They may be still a few steps back from last year, But I mean, Philly is hyper talented, and they deserve to be this high.
Number 4.
Final 4 teams, inches not feet. Kansas City.
I'm kind of surprised he has KC up this high. This is definitely our biggest difference. I had him at 7. He has them at what, 4? Is that right? 4? Yeah. It's not that far of a difference, I guess, but KC, I still don't have the answers to the questions I had last week. I still have concerns about the wide receivers. I still have concerns about this offense. I understand they're going to be getting better. It is still Kansas City. This was Chris Jones and Travis Kelce's first game. Totally get it. Chris Jones was on a pitch clock. Totally get it. Kelce, I'm sure, is not 100%. I just need to see it. And once the Chiefs show me that they are the Kansas City Chiefs and we're back to business and we're rocking and rolling, then I will slowly, steadily keep bumping them up for sure. They play the Bears this week, so good game to get right. Good game to put up 40 points. So we'll see. My eyes, I'll be spotlight on the Kansas City Chiefs this week.
Listen, Mahomes has been sacked only once this season. The story with this team, Mahomes getting good protection, and their young defense is inexpensive and really good. 14 different players, though, have had one catch. I think they're trying to figure out their receiving core. So with Travis Kelce, let's be honest, that's the number one target. Then everybody else is getting 1 or 2 catches. I still think they're trying to figure out the offense, but their next 6 games, they got a lot of W's. The teams they face in their next 6 games are 1-11. Bears up next.
Number 3.
The Cowboys. They lead the NFL.
All right, so we have the same top 3 again. And I obviously agree with this. I mean, Dallas is really good. But, again, when you're playing the Jets, when you're playing Zach Wilson, how much do I give you? How much do I grade that? I'm still waiting to have my full confidence in Dallas. But as of right now, I think Dallas, Miami, and San Francisco are like the cream of the crop right now. I think there's a bit of a gap between those 3 and the rest of the NFL.
Fell in point differential, 1 of 5 offenses without a giveaway. Their defense, 7 takeaways. So the recipe is rinse and repeat. Conservative offense. Micah Parsons is unblockable. Force fumbles.
Yeah, I mean, it's Micah Parsons. TJ Watt is probably the defensive player of the year race. Something else, guys. I always say this. Turnovers, takeaways, defensive touchdowns. You can't just say that's going to happen all the time. You can't say, yeah, this team's going to take the ball away. That's not how turnovers work. They can, defenses can be good, but to just be like, they're going to score, they're going to have defensive touchdowns, they're going to have interceptions, not always the case. So we need, as the season progresses, I understand when you win 40-0 and 30-10, can't show this, but as the season progresses, we're going to need to see the offense they're not going to catch up to the defense because the defense is so elite, but we need to see Mike McCarthy and Schottenheimer and Dak and everyone, if they can get into a rhythm and a scheme and show that their offense is running and kind of humming at their scheme and their pace, then I'll be ready to put them in there as like, okay, this team is a for real Super Bowl contender.
Picks, hyper-aggressive back end, Dallas at 3.
Number 2.
Niners are 2-0, both on the road. Brock Purdy.
Kind of shocked they has the Niners at 2 and Miami at 1. This is wild. San Francisco looks as good as a team can look in the first 2 games. 100%. I mean, they are just absolutely steamrolling. Their defense is unbelievable. Their weapons are unbelievable. Brock Purdy is playing out of his mind. He's never lost a game. He's played more than 3 quarters in. I mean, this guy, it might... I kind of wondered this week is when Tom Brady happened. I wonder if people, I'm sure they were like, this guy's going to come back to earth. This guy's going to do whatever. And then it just kept happening. I'm not saying Brock Purdy is Tom Brady, but it does feel like one of those things where everyone, besides 49er fans, everyone is sitting there saying, well, he'll come back to being average. But then you watch him play and it's like, man, damn, maybe this guy is a top 7-8 quarterback in the NFL. And if he is, San Francisco is far and away the best team in the NFC. Because if you would ask me before the season where I had Brock Purdy as far as like the quarterbacks, I probably would have had him like 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there. Maybe a little bit better, maybe like 12, 13, somewhere in there. But I certainly wouldn't have had him 7th. I certainly wouldn't have had him 6th. I wouldn't even have thought about it. I mean, again, another quarterback question. Would you rather have Trevor Lawrence or Brock Purdy? I bet 90% of people are going to say Trevor Lawrence. I would say Trevor Lawrence. But I'm starting to wonder, is that right? I'm starting to wonder if Brock Purdy isn't really good. Kyle Shanahan quarterbacks kind of get that, where so much credit is given to the team and the running game and the scheme and Shanahan and the defense. Like Jimmy Garoppolo. No one thought Jimmy Garoppolo was good. Everyone thought all of his good stuff was just a product of Kyle Shanahan and the Niners. Same with Brock Purdy. People think he's just a product of that team. He's a product of Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, the scheme, the defense, whatever. But then you watch the games, you're like, man, I don't know. I mean, this guy's making things happen. So I'm kind of at a crossroads with Brock Purdy and San Francisco, where I'm not a full believer in Purdy being individually great, but I'm getting closer every time he plays to that.
9-0 as a starter, take out the playoffs. 19 TDs, 2 picks. If you take out the NFC Championship due to an injury. Bottom line is Purdy moves better than Garoppolo, so they move the pocket better. They have never lost. 12-0 in the regular season with Christian McCaffrey as a starter. So this team they're loaded. That's the best roster in the NFL. They do not have an identity crisis like Philly.
I'll tell you this too. Not only are they the best roster in the NFL, they're better than whatever the Eagles were last year, and they're better than what the Chiefs were last year. Like this team, right now, I know it's early, but this team is playing like and has the roster of one of the best teams we've seen in a long time.
Philadelphia, they're not trying to figure out their receiving targets like Kansas City. They've got more zip to their offense than Dallas, San Francisco at 2.
Number 1.
Miami's blowing me away. 2-0, both on the road. They've scored on 11 of their 22 drives. They're really good. They can play power football. They can do finesse. They do speed. Tyreek Hill, 3 touchdown catches already.
That's what I'll say about Miami. I think Mike McDaniel might be the best coach in the NFL. He is a legit, I don't want to say genius, but he's something special. Miami found their guy. He is right up there with the Shanahans and whoever else you want to put. I mean, this guy he's so calm. He's so confident what he wants to do with his team. Play calling is incredible. The scheme's always right. And what I like is when you watch him, like when you watch Mike McCarthy or somebody, they don't even know what the hell's going on. They don't know what's going on. McDaniel, he knows what's going on in the game, but he also somehow seemingly knows like when the cameras are on him, or he handles like mid-game interviews really well. He's just so aware. He's so aware of every setting and every situation. Like they showed him on the Jumbotron and he realized he was up there. So he mouthed like, let's run the ball 5 times in a row. Because he knew there's a chance someone could see me. Let me just mess with it, whatever. Other coaches wouldn't even notice that. They would just be kind of oblivious to the whole thing. But not only does he recognize it, but he's like, let's have some fun here. Or let's possibly throw off some people. He's just playing 4D chess. He has really, really impressed me.
Again, it's really dependent on the health of Tua. You cross your fingers on that. But I've got to be honest. Watching them go on the road and just they are dominate. So creative. Yeah. They know exactly what they are, and they can do multiple things.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Thanks.
Boom. There you go. Okay, hold up. We're all over the place. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments below your top 10. Where do you agree? Where did I get it right? Where did Colin get it right? Or vice versa. Thank you for watching. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next video.